When the American auto industry was on the brink of collapse, more than 1 million jobs at stake, Governor Romney said, let's let Detroit go bankrupt. I said, I believe in American workers, I believe in this American industry, and now the American auto industry has come roaring back, and GM's number one again. So now I want to do the same thing with manufacturing jobs, not just in the auto industry, but in every industry. I don't want those jobs taking root in places like China.
How do you feel about the communist President Obama saying he'd now like to nationalize all manufacturing jobs in the United States of America? Also, do you believe that the auto industry has come roaring back? Does anybody on earth believe this? The fact of the matter is, Obama's bailout of General Motors and Chrysler cost us taxpayers about $60,000 per job saved in the auto industry. The fact of the matter is, Volkswagen, Nissan, Hyundai, Toyota are still beating us in the marketplace. The fact of the matter is, Obama is a liar. The fact of the matter is, Obama did not save the auto industry. The fact of the matter is, like all investments made by the government, they have lost a great deal of money. The fact of the matter is, Obama is either out of touch with reality, or he is the naked communist that I, Michael Savage, have depicted in Trickle-Up Poverty, Trickle-Down Tyranny, and my other books. Even Europe has moved away from managed economies. Even communist nations have moved away from the kind of bailouts that Obama is now saying he would like to engage in. Bailing out industries does not solve the problem of them failing in the first place. All it does is give more control to the dictator who bails them out. There is another element that you may not be aware of about Obama's lies. General Motors and Chrysler Fiat's so-called roaring sales are in part due to the subsidizing of the loans to buy the cars. The loans are being leased out at 30% of their actual cost. How else do you think you get a 2012 Cadillac for $319 a month for 32 months? How do you think it happens? It's because it's indirect funding through the government, and you want to call them? I call them what they are, subprime auto loans. Subprime auto loans being generated by GE's auto financing arm to inflate their car sales by selling automobiles to people who cannot afford them. Subprime auto loans. Where have you heard about this? Nowhere but the Savage Nation.
It's bad enough that our opponents want to take us back to the same policies of the last decade, the same policies that got us into this mess in the first place. That's bad enough. But when it comes to a woman's right to make her own health care choices, they want to take us back to the policies more suited to the 1950s than the 21st century.
I like the 1950s myself. I thought it was a safer, better time. Personally. I can't speak for you. I'm not a woman. I didn't try to vote in the South, but from my point of view, the streets were safer. My mother was able to walk to the bakery at night without the risk of being molested. The cops kept the streets safe because there was no ACLU to destroy the police. Incidentally, speaking about the police, the hero policeman in the Wisconsin shooting, you forgot that one already, the Sikh shooting, the guy who took 9 bullets. I want you to know that I sent him $5,000 from the Savage Legal Fund yesterday. I don't expect anything for it. I just want you to know that you can help as well. Either send it to him directly or go to my Michael Savage Legal Fund. And this is in the midst of my own problems because there are people who need help in the world, and even though it's not a lot of money, it's something. He took 9 bullets, and he's a real hero. Not one word from the president about the hero cop. If there was a victimized policeman somewhere or an invented victimized policeman, no doubt he'd be invited to a shindig with Chris Rock at the White House. Well, let me be very clear. There are probably socialists / Marxists / communists who are, more or less decent people. Then there are evil, devious socialist Marxists, and I would put Obama into the evil, devious category. The corruption is so high, it's higher than a slaughterhouse's entrails, the entrails that they throw out of the back of a slaughterhouse. It stinks to high heaven, and yet Mr. Romney, the nice guy, Mr. Romney, the good guy, Mr. Romney, the decent middle of the roader, will never talk about the stench coming out of the White House. and it stinks to high heaven. Solyndra is only the first of many scandals surrounding this corrupt presidency. And you don't have to be a Republican to want an honest man in the White House. Obama is not an honest Democrat. Obama is not an honest socialist. Obama is not even an honest candidate. Obama is a dangerous Machiavellian Marxist. And that should immediately have people voting for Romney, but it isn't, because Romney is running a middle-of-the-road campaign. And you've got a naked liar on CNN, Wolf Blitzer, who outsources a poll to a British polling company and says the president has a 52% to 45 against Romney, and nobody but Michael Savage looks up ORC, the pollsters, and says, wait a minute, they're a UK company, and they basically do polls for the British government of civil servants. It's unbelievable to me that here we have a president saying that Romney outsourced jobs while his number one spokesmouth, Wolf Blitzer, amongst many on the left, has outsourced the poll itself. It's astounding. Then you have Obama saying he wants to bail out every industry, not just the auto industry. Same things with manufacturing jobs. He now wants to socialize virtually every manufacturing plant in the United States of America along the lines of Chavez. So we have a clear, naked communist on one side and a middle-of-the-roader on the other. It's unbelievable. The people don't see it because Romney is not articulating the clear differential between himself and the lying communist in the White House. I don't have any time to waste any. Let's say it like it is.
When the American auto industry was on the brink of collapse, more than 1 million jobs at stake, Governor Romney said, let's let Detroit go bankrupt. I said, I believe in American workers. I believe in this American industry. And now the American auto industry has come roaring back. And GM's number one again. So now I want to do the same thing with manufacturing jobs, not just in the auto industry, but in every industry. I don't want those jobs taking root in places like China.
That's Hugo Chavez Obama saying that he wants to nationalize every manufacturing company in the United States of America. In other words, he slipped and told you what he's going to do if you're foolish enough to elect the imposter again. Thomas Jefferson had it right when he said, when the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Do you fear your government? Of course you do. Well, you're living in a tyrannical state of mind. You know that more than 100 million Americans are on welfare? Do you know that more Americans are dependent on the federal government than ever before in U.S. history? Do you know that well over 100 million Americans are enrolled in at least one welfare program run by the federal government? Do you know that many people are enrolled in more than one such welfare program? That's more than about a third of the entire population of the nation. Do you know that that figure does not even include Social Security or Medicare? You know that today the federal government under Obama runs almost 80 different means-tested welfare programs, and the programs are growing exponentially under the communist in the White House? How much farther do things have to go before you finally admit that Michael Savage was right when he wrote in Trickle Up Poverty and then again in Trickle Down Tyranny that Obama is a naked Marxist? I don't think it will ever happen because the people are so gulled by the media, and I am so banned by the media, that it's very hard to believe that this message will finally get through to the lunkheads out there. Do you know that the number of Americans on food stamps has grown from about 17 million in 2000 to 31.9 million when Obama took office, to 46 million today under Obama? Do you know that the federal government under Obama spent a staggering $71 billion on the food stamp program in 2011? What do you think about that? So the number of Americans on Medicaid grew from 34 million in 2000 to 54 million in 2011. 54 million people on Medicaid. Now, Medicaid was created to help the poorest of the poor get medical care. In fact, back in 1965, only about 1 out of every 50 Americans was on Medicaid. Now 1/6 of the entire nation is on Medicaid. Who's going to pay for it? We're bankrupt. All federal welfare programs are exploding in size as well. Now, this is something that Romney knows, and this is something that Romney's doing a fairly good job with. But what he doesn't understand is that he's basically wasting his time, because those who we are carrying on our backs want more freebies, not less. And that comes down to the fundamental problem, which is how tyrannies emerge in a country. And I don't have to spell it out for you. It's exhausting, frankly.